I'm not seeing it yet. Oh, now I'm seeing it.
You have it yet?
I think so. Yeah, we are live. I don't see anyone yet.
I don't either.
Man, and I thought it was a bad idea to bring my bass today. Would have had something to do while people were filing in. I have one loyal viewer on Facebook. I'm gonna share this actually.
I have 8 viewers on YouTube, so.
Awesome. Hello, everyone who is watching thus far. I am method acting today. I'm practicing being alone. Anyone who's watching and is watching for some information about the show, could you please type region in the chat for me, please? So I want to make sure that people who are coming by to hear information about the show are here right now. And not that I'm not very thankful for the people from all over the country or world, wherever. It's not that I'm not thankful for you, it's just that this stream is more geared towards people who are trying to do the summer musical with us. But I do thank you for tuning in to me talking to myself. UT Kind. Awesome. Awesome. Hey, Jalen. All right, all right, all right. How are you doing, Jalen? Gunslinger, 1876, U2 Kind. I don't know who you are.
Maybe Josh.
Naomi Fields. Hello, Naomi. I know. Ooh. Hi, Carissa. I don't know if we'll get too much to the kids' info, too much. We might grace it, but today is more about the summer musical. We have a little bit of information about the kids show and some other stuff too. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Auntie Cindy. Michael Jackson song says, "You are not alone." Everyone's alone. Everyone's compulsively never alone and always alone all at the same time. 8 billion years ago, the Big Bang happened, and there's all these atoms and stuff, and the universe found a way to experience itself. So we're all very lonely because we're all the universe. But at the same time, we're universe in different instances. That's crazy. So I'm just curious, before I got a couple more people filing, just curious, everyone who's watching, the Three Stooges musical this summer? I don't think we did, but we got some choices you might like, Barnes. What did you guys think we were going to do this summer? I know we threw some names out about a month ago. What do you guys think we were going to do? What do you think we should do? Before I kind of get into our kind of dilemma here, because usually we have auditions this weekend.
We're still having them this weekend.
Will is always late. It's his character. Well, wow. Will has lost a lot of weight. He's so thin I can't even see him. Thanks, H. Brown.
Change the angle. Can we see it now? Oh no, still not there.
Oh, hi, Jacob Herr. Bye-bye, Birdie. We honestly tossed it around. We tossed that name around a bit. West Side Story. I don't think we have enough white people. Will has to make a grand entrance. Yeah, and he'll be moving the mic, and it'll like ruffle against his clothes and everything, and then he'll sit and he'll do that scooch thing, and then everyone will hear it. It'll be a great entrance. Do you plan to keep the cast small for the summer show? What are you slurping? What I thought was a diet beverage is actually just carbonated water that has a brownish tint. So it could be fertilizer. And for the summer show, we're not, okay, we want to keep it small because we don't know what the restrictions are. That being said, you know, chorus is always needed. So small for maybe Ross standards, but small overall. Yeah. Oh, chat disconnected. Cool. So, oh, my laptop lost internet. So if you see comments on the YouTube, please tell them to me. I'm going to try and pull this up on my phone. I am so sorry.
Josh R changed my name from UT.
All right, my connection is restored. I do like Dr. Pepper, Barnes. I do like Dr. Pepper, but I don't know what that was. And I think it was just crummy machine. They didn't have any syrup left. It just kind of tasted like carbonated water, which is great for the singing voice. Anything with caffeine and carbonated. Bridgerton the musical. I think we've done Bridgerton the musical before. It was cool. It was just called all these other classical musicals just because we've always had diverse casts. All right. I think we got about 25 to 30 people watching. I think we can get started. Oh, what's up, Josh? All right. So, the show for the summer is, we don't know. We've got a lot of things in mind. We have a lot of shows have been tossed around. We've been watching a lot of musicals. In fact, I kind of musicaled out from the past week of just watching musicals over and over and over again. I'm sorry. Vignettes of lots of old TV shows. You can do Carol Burnett's Glimmer Girl. We are going to do Carol Burnett's second half of June. So that is coming. That is coming. So stay tuned for that, H. Brown. we threw around Something Rotten. We threw around Shrek. We threw around Catch Me If You Can. We threw around Footloose. We threw around Zombie Prom. We threw around a musical that I just heard of today called Disaster. We threw around Matilda. We threw around what else am I missing?
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia.
Phantom.
Phantom and Anastasia. You know, those are all in the kind of mix of things, but then we have to take into consideration like the COVID restrictions. Having a giant kids cast, probably not a good idea when, you know, while kids do have a much higher rate of survival with COVID, they cannot get vaccinated, and so it can still spread, so that's a risk we'd be running, and it's just, you know, getting kids sick isn't really our thing either, so we're probably going to steer clear of it. Ghost the Musical, we actually did throw that around, H. Brown. We did. We watched it. Granted, it was a high school version, but we watched it, and the music's good, but it was it was boring. Yeah, that's all. It is a lot of shows, and we're gonna talk about a lot of that once we get a little further along. Sorry, I'm trying. Listen, I'll dress like Miss Trunchbull. Okay. I believe in you, Josh. So, so what we're going to end up having to do this year with auditions are a little different. We're going to have a form that we're going to send out. And what's going to be on the form?
Okay. Let me show the form real quick.
You're about to see the form on the screen.
We'll put a link to it, but it will be, this is kind of what it looks like.
There's going to be a link, but you're going to get a visual representation. There it is.
We'll have all this information, and we'll have the next, we'll also ask what shows you would be interested in. I think you need to tell them.
Yeah. Okay, so at the end here, it's going to have a checklist of shows you're interested in. Let me actually pull this up so I can see it better. Yeah, first and last name, address, all pretty standard, age, phone number, and then positions and shows you'd be interested in. Now, we need to stress, just because you put down the show that you're most interested in does not mean we're going to do that show. There are a lot of shows I wanted to do the past 2 years. I really wanted to do Something Rotten last year. I really wanted to do it this year. Probably not a good idea, especially with people barely come to see shows as it is, and now they have an excuse, even further, rather a good one, albeit, but an excuse nonetheless, to not see shows based on COVID. You know, and as more and more people getting vaccines, it matters less and less. But can you guarantee me a starring role? Depends. H. Brown. There's tons of stuff we have to take into consideration, as well as while we could do all these shows that we're putting up there, we can't get rights. Some of them are being really stingy with the rights. Not very...
We've already been turned down for Anastasia.
We're turned down for Anastasia, Phantom, what else?
Well,
Dear Evan Hansen, we were in the running for. Didn't even hear back from him. Oh, one I forgot to mention, we were thinking about doing Spongebob. We're waiting to hear about that. Spongebob is another thing we've been looking at. I can't believe we grazed over that one.
and they haven't denied it, but it's taken them 3 weeks to produce
Yeah,
it.
they haven't denied it, but it's been 3 weeks, so we're just going to say Spongebob's a no-go.
Well, no, it could come next week. If they comes in the next week, we're having trouble getting Zombie Prom.
Yeah, we're even having trouble getting Zombie Prom, which is something that usually isn't that hard to get. Barnes, Jacob, are you vaccinated? If so, what vaccine did you get? I got the Johnson one. I, too, got the Johnson one. I don't like needles, so I got the one and done, and it's the same formula of shot. It's not mRNA. That was my choice. If I could do it again, I might get the Pfizer, but I'm here. I'm fine. I did get vaccinated. But there's please don't do Spongebob. It's just humans dressed in colors of the characters. It's terrible. Hunchback was also one of those that we watched it and we didn't think this would be a good show because it was kind of silly, and then we changed it to be more Ross, and a lot of people who saw it liked it. We did a little bit different than like La Jolla, which is the one who kind of spearheaded it. So we would probably do something a little different than just dressing in the colors as the characters. I mean, that's kind of how I felt about Little Mermaid. Although it's easier with mermaids, you just have to dress the bottom half. I hate needles as well. I'm satisfied with the Johnson one. Me too. I was really sick for a week, but after that, I felt fine.
We have to consider what people would want to watch.
Yeah, we also have to consider what people would want to watch. Another show we threw around was Ragtime, and, you know, Ragtime is a fantastic musical. It's probably my top 5, but, you know, we run into problems with, you know, viewership and with just it being such a touchy subject, people not wanting to come see it. And, you know, we've spent a year in political, you know, social turmoil, albeit, and we want to do something fun. We want to do something more on the fun side. We usually don't shy away from drama, but it'd be nice to do something a little more fun than what we usually do. Josh, I got Pfizer and everything was fine until Tuesday. Yeah, Pfizer apparently has like the most successful vaccination rate. Most successful results out of all the vaccinations. It has the least amount of people who get COVID after getting it. But we've got a ton of stuff that we have to consider. Should I say which ones we're leaning towards?
No, because we're not leaning toward anything until I get contracts.
Okay, we're not leaning towards anything until we get contracts. I did a concert version of Ragtime in the Choir in 2013. That's how I was introduced to that show. It's a great show. It is.
And we have a Model T in our garage.
We have a Model T in our garage. So, I mean, we have the props and sets for it. It just, you know. Stuart's dad left on a Tuesday. That one went over my head. I'm sorry, H. Brown. Yeah, so we got all that going on. What else do we need to cover?
Well, the one thing about Ragtime, too, is that's one of those things where color matters.
Yeah, a Ragtime, West Side Story, Memphis, a bunch of these shows. Huh? Hairspray. We talked about Hairspray, too. Hairspray, our biggest problem is getting enough white people who can dance. But it's like a lot of these shows, the problem we're running into them is like when colorblind casting can't be applied, it makes it really hard to do the show. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having social messages in musicals. I mean, Broadway's pioneered that for at least half a century before, not as much, but it's been pioneering social change. But what the problem we run into is, like, you know, you have shows like Hamilton or Hadestown, which are kind of into that anyone can play anything, and you can do that anywhere and put on a good show. You can't rewrite Ragtime, Hairspray, In the Heights, West Side Story to accommodate whoever's in there. You need people of particular races to play particular parts to fulfill their historical role, while being true to the show and respectful of the history behind it. Charge each person $500 if they want to participate. That'll rake in the dough. Yeah, that'd be nice to be able to rake in dough like that, but we very much have emphasis on we want to be a community, and we do this because we love it. So we do not have fees while having people audition. However, there is one difference between this year and every other year. Typically, you know, Ross, we embody the, if you come to us and you want a part, you know, there's always a place in chorus. There's always a place backstage. There might be a place in the pit if you can play an instrument. We'll find something for you to do. This year can't do that. One thing for sure is if you're vaccinated, we're going to look at that, and that'll persuade perception of how things are cast. In addition to that, we need to have smaller groups because usually we run like 100 people in a cast, and it dwindles 3 or 4 weeks in. We usually get 70 by the time the show starts, but we can't have that many people in the same building at once doing Grease. It's legendary. You should really consider it. I would love to see it. Also, we'd be wearing masks on stage. Masks? I'd hope not.
The idea is not to wear masks.
Yeah, the idea is not to wear masks, and if you are vaccinated and everyone around you is vaccinated, then the CDC guidelines say you cannot transmit COVID-19 if you are vaccinated, and if 2 people are vaccinated, there's 0.0000000000000000004% chance of you transmitting it. Yeah, people can lie about being vaccinated, but there's these handy things that are vaccination cards, and while we would typically trust word of mouth, we'd feel a lot better if we could see the vaccination cards. Not saying you need a vaccination to do it, you're just saying it would make things a lot easier for us. Hypothetically, if someone sings really bad and ruins a chorus of sound, would you be honest with them and tell them to lip sync in the back, or do you want them to sing loudly? Everybody gets better for one. We've had situations like this, and I remember I had we've had this happen before. We've had this happen before where we have a bunch of people who are not experienced singers, and they come and they want to do shows, and yeah, and they had there's one gentleman who is standing behind. Yeah. But there's a bunch of people we've had in the past who are not experienced singers at first, and then someone will turn around and say, "Hey, drop your jaw," or "Do this," or "Do that," and they instantly sing better. And usually, chorus is a combined effort, so even if they're singing the right part, they should fit in. Now, we always tell people not to sing over each other, especially in a chorus setting. And sometimes there are people who are just legitimately tone deaf, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just some people are born that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of the time, the people that are tone deaf already know they are. And even then, they can learn. Uncle Willie is here.
He is.
Will, hi Will, says Barnes. Jalen, great grand entrance. Bravo, Will.
I'm sorry, I was stuck in traffic. I was supposed to be back in this area an hour ago, so there's that. If you were on the highway, you heard a lot of very, very, very explosive swear words. I did 2 things illegal to get here, so there's that.
Tell everyone excuse us to bear with us because Comcast internet sucks Wang.
My father says to bear with us. Comcast internet sucks.
Just
Dwayne
sucks.
Johnson. Did Will bring the pizza? No, we're eating afterwards.
Did Will bring the pizza? I'm
No.
supposed to bring pizza?
No.
The last one in. Buys dinner.
Oh, this is true. I'll buy dinner, but I can't make a pizza at home for Jacob. I don't have any cauliflower at my house.
I eat regular pizza dough. How do I get free pizza, H. Brown?
Get free pizza from where? I can tell you how to get free Chick-fil-A.
Ask him how old he is.
Barnes, how old are you? If you do not mind disclosing that to a bunch of strangers.
I don't know. Bye Bye Bird, it has a lot of good music. It's just a huge cast.
The only reason I ever want to do that musical is because I want the that one line. And we're going to have an orgy. And I just think that's the funniest thing. Yeah, people are tuning out because the internet's doing great.
I watched some of it while I was sitting in the car, yelling expletives.
Some of what?
Some of the stream. There are lots of, oof, my screen is loading every 5 seconds.
Yep,
We
ours too.
apologize.
Okay, tell them I'm working on that now, and
Our technical director is fixing.
Xfinity right now to see if I can find out why they suck.
We're going to a higher power. We're going to a higher power. Reinhardt is working on it now too.
We were going to start the show with me sitting in for you.
You should have.
It's really changed. I'm an old white lady.
You're not old. You're a white lady, but you're not old. No, you're black. We taught her how to eat chicken the correct and proper way from sharks. These two are a great duo. We taught her how to eat chicken the correct and proper way. She wears weave when she has to.
She does.
She doesn't really burn in the summertime. She just kind of like...
All right. It looks like we're coming back now. All right. Barnes, I don't know if you can hear us now, but inquiring minds want to know, how old are you?
If it makes you feel better, we are not those inquiring minds.
Yeah.
Fixed.
Good.
Oh man, it went from 6 to 15 like that.
Yep.
Guess, how old do I look? People often tell me I look younger than I am. I'll give you a hint. I'm in my 50s. I don't have a really good
So the
picture.
reason I'm asking is because
We're just asking
that's the
because
age that we'll see Bye Bye Bird.
Yeah.
Need the young kids to see that one.
we're just seeing if you were a younger person that you'd be interested in Bye Bye Birdie. Well, the problem with Bye Bye Birdie is it would appeal to people who are older, but not necessarily to people who are younger.
More of a demographic, question.
The older people who see our shows, they'll see our shows no matter what. The younger people, younger people can do things for free and they won't do them.
I mean, there's a pandemic going on. We did Little Shop and Smokey Joe's, and the majority of the audience was the older crowd.
With the pandemic, we did 2 musicals, and the majority of the audiences for all those performances were older people. Young people don't really support the arts as well as older people do.
Especially not some of those, because musicals, the sound, just the generalized sound of them is actually starting to change. And they just sound different. So I don't know if that's part of it, or are they just lazy, or is it not like I don't see it on a TV screen or a movie, so I'm not going to go. I mean, but I don't know how many younger people still go to the movies. My brother does, but...
I do. Diane Thiel, I still have not given up on Fiddler on the Roof. I would love to do Fiddler on the Roof.
If I were...
Rich
Gotta love the shark story. Oh no, the shark story with her was better in person because we were in the middle of a rehearsal and there's just sharks and we taught her how to eat it. How to dip it in the sauce and everything, and how to only use a certain amount of fingers, so you still had the use of these 2 fingers. You have to guess how old I am, but a hint is in my 50s. Oh, you still want us to guess?
54.
That's a good solid number.
It's always good to guess on the lower half of the... I'd ask,
He said people always think he looks younger, so I'll go 57, 58.
Yeah.
'Cause
We'll
you
divide and conquer. We'll use
Yeah.
those weird numbers no one likes.
It's always a 7. People always guess a 7.
I'm a solid 7.
The way you get free pizza is to order pizza. When they bring it to the door, you tell them that you have to get your wallet, and then you lock the door behind you, and you ignore their crying outside.
That's theft.
It depends. Well, if you do that at Chick-fil-A, because Chick-fil-A gives out so many free
They
things
just
a
let
day.
you take it.
So if you take too long to get to your wallet or to get to your payment, they'll just give it to you and tell you it was a part of their initiative.
Mm-hmm.
But it basically just keeps the line down.
Because it costs them pennies. The younger folks need more theater exposure. The Bye Bye Birdie would do the audience good. I agree. Like, a lot of these older musicals would do younger audiences good. The problem is they don't want to listen.
Pros because they don't come.
They don't show up and they don't listen. If they showed up, they get bored. They sit on their phone the whole time. Like they can't. It's so impossible to like really convince someone who hasn't had a theatrical upbringing, and they, especially in like this, you know, the information of the world's in our hand at all times, and we decide it's like, oh, am I going to sit down and watch this musical, or am I going to look up, you know, quantum physics, like a detailed quantum physics paper, and you can do both at the same time. And they're not walking up quantum physics, they're on TikTok. But the point remains the same, that it's hard to get these younger people to pay attention.
I think it also comes down to the lack of imagination. I know growing up, I was not a theater person like you were. You know, I wasn't. I was still playing football, but my grandmother, when she would read us bedtime stories, always read them to us in like this, in different voices, and she had us picture it and do all of these things that I think that kind of led to my beginning love for this. And nowadays, you know, with theater, especially coming to see a show, your imagination has to supplement a lot of things. That if you're not, in a movie, you can see it all out. You know, we're in a house and then we go to a school and there's a different scene. In a stage, all we do is, you know, we change the backdrop or the background animation. We maybe flip around the set piece, but you're not being able to be immersed in this space. And a lot of that does have to do with phones. You know, think about when I was younger, I remember writing notes to people, and then I would have to wait the entire weekend for a response back.
Also the problem is you hear of Broadway musicals now. They don't even have a set. Like the only thing that's supposed to grab their attention is like the actor's performance, and unless you're like studying acting, it's like, I'm not going to want this in-depth performance of Cinderella. I want to see a castle, I want to see this, I want to see that.
Even think about, you know, Hamilton and Hadestown. Hadestown has a little bit more of a set, but for the most part, Hamilton is all just one unit.
They have costumes, though.
You do costumes, you bring out a desk, you bring out a chair, you bring out a couple of things, but it's not like they're completely going to a different place every time, you know, something happens.
Jacob Hirsch has ever thought of doing a musical like Sunset Boulevard or Evita? I know they're Weber shows, but the lead supporting cast are monetized with Malibu. Isn't Evita like kind of adult?
Well, no, it's just boring.
I
get Evita, and isn't there an Aida too?
Yes, there's an Aida.
I get those confused all
There's
the time.
an Aida the musical, an Aida the opera, and then an Evita.
Get a bunch of hot people in the cast, and get them to invite lots of the opposite gender. You will have packed the audience. You know, I've tried that once, except I tried it with the same gender, and it worked a lot better that way. Jalen, performance art need to be put more into schools. Yes, they do, but we need 7 more football fields. So until we get those, you know.
But still, just because you put it in doesn't mean that everyone's going to do it. You know, you can add as many of those classes as you want, but that doesn't mean that.
Well, the problem is
Here's the thing. When we did 2 musicals this year. Normally, Maryville does 1, and nobody else was doing anything.
Yeah.
And we couldn't fill up the 175 seats we were allowed to fill.
Yeah, we did 2 musicals, and we could fill up 175 seats, and we were the only musicals in the era, twice. Once in the fall, once in the spring, and no one came to see those shows. No one came.
The audience that did come were very appreciative.
The audiences that came were great, but like the community didn't support. Didn't support. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And some of these people that are very high up in, you know, let's say the Minerva school system, I'm sure they attend sports games. When I was there, that was always the case. And it's the tale as old as time. Sports are important, yada, yada, yada. Theater kids are stupid. And, you know, I have an appreciation for athletics as I've gotten older, and I went on my own fitness journey. It's...
Keep going. I'm sorry, I just was reading the comments.
Oh, I just saw that too. But if you go along and if you go along and treat athletics and theater, it's like they lend to each other really well. A lot of big Broadway stars need to be in great shape, and to be in great shape, you need to be very nuanced in the world of athletics.
ESPN did a 30 for 30 on one of the genies from Broadway, and they strapped a bunch of monitors to him to monitor like his heart rate and things throughout the show, and he took more steps than a football player in a big game like the quarterback, and his heart rate was just as high. So a lot of these things are.
Well, there's a commercial of the Super Bowl. You have Drake next to these football players, and Drake's built now. You gotta do it for Millie Bobby Brown. But that's weird. It's weird. Let's talk about that in our next two Bored Musicians, because I got stuff to say about that. But there's he's built, and then there's these football players next to him who are these little scrawny guys. And I'm just like, something's not. That's a musician.
But he's doing that because he wants to.
But what I'm saying, nonetheless, it's like that helps him because he's in better shape.
Yeah.
He appeals to a wider audience, and like
I do want to make mention of this comment though, because it's pretty funny.
We'll get to it in a second. But like even backstage, it's like building sets and stuff. We have a guy who comes back there. His name's Nana. Tall. And I watched this man grab a wooden pallet from the pit. These are like 100-pound pallets, and he crushed his arm between that and a metal beam. And we said, "Oh my God, are you all right?" And he just goes, "Yeah, I'm all right."
Wasn't that bad?
Yeah. I was like, "What? How are you all right from that?" But yeah, the two lend together, and I feel like if some athletics people would come and try to experience some theatrical things, they might get a better appreciation for it. Like I got a better appreciation for like a lot of athletics things. All right, go ahead.
And me being involved with both, I love football. Absolutely, I could do a musical and go watch a football game. As
Dad wanted to move to Bloomington because he could see a football game in the afternoon and an opera at night.
Remember that one show we were doing here, and it was a Bears game, and you and I were waiting. You were waiting to start the show, and you're giving me Bears game updates through the headset, and you're like, "Wait, hang on! Oh, he missed it! He missed the ball! He missed." I won't repeat everything that he said, but so it does. There's nothing that says that these worlds have to be yin and yang and polar opposite. That they can work together. Okay, so. H. Brown says, "I have the best idea. What if you did Magic Mike or something similar? Your audience would be packed with women wanting to stuff money in their G-string and pay for everything." Here's the biggest problem with that.
It's out of school. Two.
No, that's not the biggest. We wouldn't be able to hide our microphones if we took off all of our clothes, and that would be bad. It would just ruin the illusion.
I could think of
that
creative ways.
Oh, they'll be toasted before they get there.
But the closest thing to Magic Mike on stage is Rocky Horror. That or hair.
No, Full Monty.
Full Monty.
What's that?
Oh my.
Full Monty. Oh, you don't know?
No.
They do a whole scene wearing nothing but a hat over their private area, and it's a dance number.
Okay.
It was from a movie, and I think it was based on a true story.
I think so. Well, if you now.
The movie you can't understand because they all have the Scottish accent, so.
Magic Mike, please, hubba hubba. They never have those sort of things around here. Lots of bored housewives will go for sure. I mean, we never sold out of Little Mermaid, and that's as close as we got to that.
We did have you half naked. I think.
And Cassidy.
Maybe we should have had me half naked too. Maybe we should have just painted me completely white.
We wanted a furry up there.
You should have just painted me completely white.
We needed a furry representation. J. Camel, gotta say, I won't be taking the kids to that one. That's fine.
Can't go see a Bears game. See that's the issue is we try to operate in a very family oriented way, and sometimes you slip a swear word. PG-13 you can slip a swear word here and or there or make an innuendo that will go over the kid's head, but the parents will get and they laugh at. But when you do something like that, or you do something like kinky boots. You know, it would be hard to explain to your children why all of these men are dressed as women on stage.
I mean, we could never do cabaret.
And I did that in college.
Yeah, cabaret is a great show, but it's like there's so much nuance there. First, you have to explain what Nazi Germany is to your kids. Then you have to explain why
and it
it's
ends
wrong.
so depressing.
Yeah, and then you have to explain why they go to these places to be around people of similar, I guess, nomenclature, pedigree, whatever you say. Then you have to explain why a guy kissing a guy is weird. Then you have to explain why his wife does what she does. There's so many layers there. I was 21 years old watching it for the first time. I'm talking to people next to me because there's a big arena and there's no one around us. Normally I don't talk in shows, but I didn't know what was going on.
And he scowls at me when I talk throughout shows and movies.
Yes,
What
because
show is this?
Cabaret.
Cabaret. And I'm like, why is she doing that? And she's like, oh, what? So scandalous.
When I did it, I'll never forget. I told my family, you know, that I was playing the character's name was MC, and my dad misinterpreted that as that I was MCing a show.
Well,
So
you were. That's what the role does.
But when he saw when he saw me in costume and I'm in deep purple lipstick, he said, "What are you wearing lipstick for? You're just an MC." And I said, "No, that's the character's name." But you know, there's lots of reasons why you can't do things like this. It's one thing to throw a couple of dirty jokes in that go over a kid's head, but it's another thing when you throw it like right in their face.
Internet. Love it.
Is it down?
For me.
It's still going.
Okay. We didn't tell them, they've heard what some of the things were, but we haven't told them the process of auditioning or applying to audition. That form is going to be, I'm going to put the form, everyone's got to sign up. We will email them time on Sunday that they will audition for us. They can sing anything because we don't know what the show is. If they don't know what to sing, Mrs. Reinhardt will pick a couple numbers they could pick from, and they can sing those for us, and I will do that tonight. But
Now, just in case, when I was coming here, I listened and I could hear you talking to him, but I'll repeat it just in case.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You have to repeat.
So the process is going to be a little differently this year than it has been in years past for obvious reasons. It will be a virtual,
The first one.
the first one, and then the callback will be in person, correct?
Right. If there's a callback, it'll be in person. I may see what I got and just say, okay, I'm going to cast.
And you want, what, 16 to 32 bars, or?
I don't care. I can turn it off anytime I want.
Okay.
Sing what you're comfortable with.
Sing what you're comfortable
Think of
with.
16 to 32 as a minimum.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if the spirit so moves you to sing
Sing
the
the whole
entire
song.
song, and if it's a song that has this very specific part,
Yeah, I'd rather have someone sing the whole song, and then I can go to the parts that I want to hear. That might be.
I'm going to do it live with me, so it should probably be about 16 to 32 bars.
yeah.
They're gonna do it live.
Yeah, we will Zoom. them.
Okay, never mind. Disregard what I just said. It's live, so go ahead, sing your heart out. 16 to 32 minimum.
And if you don't know what that is, you know, please feel free to ask.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have the sheet music in front of you. But
it's
it's
about
a
45 seconds.
yeah.
45 seconds to a minute, and if I were you,
If you go over a minute, the world will not end.
yeah, if I were you, I'd prepare the whole song, pick your favorite 16 to 32 bars, but have the full song prepared just in case.
And you want them singing with music, correct?
Yes, they should have music.
You should have some form of accompaniment. You can find plenty online,
Oh, and we will put some songs up from some of the shows we're thinking about.
and we'll put some songs up from some of the shows we're thinking about as reference.
And they can use those.
Which, if for the most part, when you go and audition other places, you know, they do the 16 to 32 bar cut of something not in the show, which that serves its purpose. But if you've auditioned for Ross in the past, you know that they usually do using the same music from the show, but with the show not being cast or picked yet, and two, you know, amongst other things, just sing what you want. And they can, if they need to hear something specific from you, Mrs. Reinhardt can facilitate that. She can ask you, here, I'm going to teach you this, you know, one page. Can you sing it for me really quickly or something like that?
And like I said, we will post some stuff that if they don't want to pick their own song, we'll have things that they can sing with accompaniment and they can download it and practice.
Yeah. So, no sweat, no stress. And this is actually a little better because for the most part, you get to pick something that's a lot more comfortable
Hi,
for
Kiera.
you. Is Kiera here?
Yes.
Well, that's your everyday language. Great minds
Kids
think
show?
dirty.
Should we mention anything about that?
What did I?
Kids show?
Yes, I'm gonna put a form up for the kids to sign up to. The problem we have here is we're gonna do one. It might be here, but I would like to be able to have an audience, and or it might be at the high school. Now, the high school depends on a lot of things. Depends on if they'll let us bring kids in from all over, or if because it would be run through the choir department, because Melinda wants to have a camp for the Maryville kids anyway, to keep their interest after. So we have to work that out with it, and if we can't, it's gonna be here, and hopefully it can be live, but it may be a thing that we do the show, record it, and
I got people asking questions.
okay.
Okay, so we are going to send out another form for the kids show. So from there,
That will be up tomorrow.
that will be up tomorrow.
And the kids show it might be here, it might be at the high school.
It might be here or at the high school, and we may or may not have to pre-record it.
Right.
So that's
As far as the question someone asked, will the auditions be on Zoom? Will they be private or everyone in the Zoom room? Are you using Zoom?
No. We will give them a time, it will just be us and
I
But
knew
what
that. I knew
program?
that part. But which software are you using? Are you using Zoom?
probably.
Okay, so it will probably be Zoom, but no matter what it is, you will have a specific time, and you will be the only one on the call. So just you and the folks that are going to cast you, not you singing in front of everyone. But during the callbacks, they'll probably still do the same thing just to kind of keep things limited. We want to keep contact down as much as possible right now in between people.
So we'll give them time to come back.
So we'll
Yeah.
give you a time to come back. This is going to be very lax. This is probably going to be a little more fun than the typical auditions, because usually they're there's a social aspect gone, but there's tons of fun stuff going on.
The callback, we will have them come in groups.
Callback will be in groups, so we will be social.
Barnes, I'll write the musical version of Karate Kid for you.
That wouldn't be a bad one.
No.
Actually, wax on, wax off could be a big dance number. Wax on, wax off.
I'll make a man out of you
wax
with
on,
Miss
wax.
That's what I said, it should have been a musical.
performance dates.
Right now, it's the last weekend of July, first weekend in
We
August.
close August 1st.
We close. This is for the summer production. We close August 1st, last weekend of July, first weekend of August.
There is a chance it might be the first 2 weekends in August, depending on when we get all the music and crap.
There is a chance we might move it up a week, just for the sake
Back
that
a week.
Back a week.
back a week. I think weird.
Backwards.
Yeah, back a week to be the first 2 weekends of August. What about the kids show?
Kids show, it will be a 12-day thing, 12 to 14-day thing. I think it's going to be performed around the 24th of June.
All right, kids show, 12-day thing, performed probably around the 24th of June.
So just keep on the lookout for different things. I think there's a way you can go on Facebook and notify when things happen. But for those of you that watch us on YouTube, you can go on and after you subscribe to the Eminem Ross page, you can notify every time we post a video or go live, and we will definitely make sure we keep you up to date every time we do a Bored Musicians stream.
Yeah, anyone who's in the Mike Reinhardt stream right now, feel free to follow us on Twitch or Facebooks, whatever.
Because you're on more often.
Yeah, we're on every week. Pretty much. We're on every week, so if you'd like to come hang out with us on Twitch, we play music a lot. We talk about stuff other than Ross and just theater.
Yes, Barnes, I will. I am working on a musical now that I've been working on for like 3 years, and I've just started getting really inspired.
What
but
days/times do you typically rehearse? Evenings, weekends, weekdays? Typically weekdays in the evenings. Sometimes we do some stuff on weekends when we're doing set building. We'll do some like dance rehearsals and stuff. But it's typically weekdays, evenings.
Because, you know, a lot of people still work throughout the daytime. We're usually there throughout the day, but the official rehearsal doesn't start typically until the evenings, like maybe around the 6, 7 o'clock range, just so that people can still go to work and do their thing.
The show will be like 12:30.
Children's shows will be very early in the afternoon, like 12:30.
Are you doing 12 to 2 or 12 to 12 for a couple of hours?
12:30 to probably about till probably 2.
12:30 to about 2 for the kids' show.
Depending on the show and how much.
Depending on the show and how much needs to be done.
But yeah, that's another thing. You know, we're typically always someone's always at the high school every day of the summer, building set pieces and painting something or moving something or doing whatever. Once we get to about the 4th of July, we usually do a big set building deal the 4th of July. Because that's like the going downhill, pushing straight forward towards the show. Because usually by that time, the show's in like 3 weeks or something. So we try to get everything done. Will, did you get married? I just saw you messing with your wedding ring. No, that is not a wedding ring. This is my left hand.
His husband's very handsome.
His husband's very handsome.
My husband is very, very pretty. My husband's name is Momonica. I don't know why I said Momonica. No, I did not get married. I don't think anyone's ever going to marry me, so there's that.
Feel bad for him. Boo!
Feel bad for him. Pity. Pity.
Pity.
Grovel. But are we I know Maryville is not doing their parade. Are we considering doing the other parades? Because I know.
Is doing theirs.
Crown Point's doing theirs.
Crown Point's doing theirs.
Are we considering walking in those?
Yeah, we will do those.
So the parades, we typically also, if you know you have not come out and hung out with us, typically do the parades. We always try to do Maryville's, but Maryville has canceled their parade for this year.
I'm not sure why. No one comes to it anyway. There's lots of social distancing.
There's lots of social distancing in Maryville. No one ever comes.
But Hobart and Crown Point and is Highland doing theirs? Do you know Highland? So.
$25 till Friday, and then it's $50.
Those are fun days. I mean, they're long and sometimes they're really hot. If you are, but a lot of times most people just walk in jeans or shorts and the show shirt. But you know, sometimes, especially like when we did Little Mermaid, we did Hunchback, we did Beauty and the Beast. Some of the principal characters, or as many characters that felt comfortable, walked in costume. And you know, when you're walking around, especially in something instantaneously recognizable, I'll never forget walking around down Crown Point. And there was someone that everyone kept calling. I was playing Scuttle, so I'm dressed as Scuttle, and they all kept calling me the wrong name. I don't know what they kept calling me. And there was, yeah, probably. And there was this one lady screams Scuttle's name. And so I turn around and I respond, and so I'm talking in character the whole time. And so there was the Scuttle fan club, you know, so I go over and I take a picture with them. And those kinds of things are pretty fun. Probably won't do as much of that, you know, involvement with the crowd, although I am vaccinated as well. But just to keep things down, you know, want to make sure that
at the end of the day, we're going to respect the CDC guidelines and social distance, but you know, the need for a mask is lessening in a lot of places, so we will probably progress with those. Will needs a woman. Maybe we can do a bachelor auction to raise money for the show. It will kill two birds with one stone.
Bachelor.
I don't think we can auction Will off. That just wouldn't be a good thing. Nope, we're not doing that. Sorry, H. Brown.
You can auction off 3 of us, though. If it's me and my brother and my dad, you can auction off all 3 of us.
Stop.
Oh my God.
I just want everyone to know I made that joke solely and by myself.
Yes, he did.
And now we're running out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, Will, you sounded so sad when you said that. I wanted to make sure that you're okay. Yes, no, I'm fine. I'm fine.
For now.
I know, I'm fine.
But there's awesome. That was awesome. All right. Moving on.
It reminded me of Guess Who. I watched Guess Who last night.
Will audition times be throughout the day or at a specific time of day or evening, asking for the sake of avoiding any conflicts?
Probably the evening.
Probably the evening. Jalen.
Did you add more lights?
I turned some on your
I'm sorry.
Debbie says, "Oh my God, stop." I agree, Debbie.
Oh, I made those jokes. I want to once again want to reiterate.
Tell Debbie your grumpy old man was supposed to be here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's Steve?
We're supposed to be two. We were gonna be.
We're gonna do a sequel series. We're gonna, we get more viewers on here. Might as well stay here. 2 grumpy old men and 2 grumpy old men in training. But he's not here.
Let's auction off dates with lots of MHS hotties.
Wow, now we're talking about kids.
No, I think you mean MHS alumni. So we're gonna clarify that.
I would just stick with the show shit.
Yeah.
We didn't say this. We're reading the comments. Oh. So we're not auctioning anyone off. That's
Yeah, I'm fucking hiding this from my wall.
Okay. So what have we learned today? 1, we don't know what the show is yet. 2, we cannot auction anyone off.
Yes.
3, Will is not married.
But if you
No, there are some people that I would want to sell just for the money.
If there's an offer, I can be bought. I am known to sell out.
You can make me an offer that I just can't refuse.
If there's more than 5 zeros, I can't refuse it. So, H. Brown. Okay. Naomi Fields. LMAO. I'm glad someone's laughing. No more auction.
No more auctions.
No
We're
more
not
auction.
auctioning anyone. We're not auctioning anyone. No shame.
We can auction off the Model T.
No,
No, never mind. We can't do that.
you will first.
Stop!
See, I'm what they call returnable profit.
Oh my God.
You auction off the Model T, that's gone forever. You auction me off, I can come back and we can do it again. That is the circle of life.
Oh my God. Okay.
Debbie said no. No, we are not auctioning anyone or anything.
There might be things we auction, but they're things.
So
Some of those set pieces that we
it
don't
would be
use
kind of
anymore.
cool for people to own, like set pieces.
Or small little props and things.
Yeah.
Jake, we can auction off rides in the Model T with you driving.
I'd be better now. Oh, I've never driven a car in my life.
Put that story there, Jake.
Okay, so the Model T, it has inverse steering, so you turn left, you go that way, you turn right, you go that way. And I'm driving this down the street.
How old were you?
Like, I don't know, 13?
I don't even know if you were 13.
I was 13, at least. And I was driving down, and like, my mom's yelling something at me, my dad's yelling something at me, Lucas is going, ouch, my knees! And I'm just trying to get home, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm turning into a car, I'm turning away from a car. Yeah. So, Josh, stop! No! Josh said I'm open to being bought.
Why did we get on this?
You did it.
No, he didn't.
I did not. I didn't do it. I did not.
It's bullshit. I did not hit her.
Oh, hi,
I did
Mike.
not. Oh, hi, Mike.
I did not say it. I did not. Thank you, Debbie. Well, we said, I don't know. Are we still going to try to do our 24-hour stream at some point in time?
I would like to do a 24-hour stream at some point. I feel like it'd be better on this account because we get a lot more viewers here.
Yeah. We said we were going to.
Yeah.
We said we were going to try to do like a 24-hour, like, raise a money-a-thon or something like that. And do different things.
Two grumpy old men sounds good for a production of Waiting for Godot. I can't remember the line. What was...
Me either. All I can hear him saying is "Waiting for Godot" in my head. I can't remember what preceded it though.
Oh my God!
Where's
there's a
Keith
joke
when
there.
you need him?
I know. He was supposed to be here.
Jalen said in my teacher voice, "Corner now." Jalen, who are you sending to the corner? I think everyone needs to go to the corner, except Debbie. Clean out the cement room and auction props. That probably, some of those things, I don't know. Some of those things might not be bad. Because there are a lot of duplicates of things down there.
Yeah, two grumpy old men. I feel like that'd be a cool. Like, we want to do more live streaming because when people come out and like hang out, it's fun. And YouTube is a lot more rewarding than Twitch. So I'm actually asking about the joke.
You spelled Godot wrong.
I know.
I love that he instantaneously knew the line.
They say Waiting for Godot. Oh, hello. Oh. Barnes will give $1,000 for a date with Will.
Oh my
I think a bachelor/bachelorette show, an alternative to the auction, would be extremely interesting. Thank you, Barnes. Now we're making progress.
Now we're not selling anyone. We're just selling people's dignity, and that's fine. That's okay.
Barnes says, "What? I will not."
We're just selling their dignity. I'm pretty sure there's something similar of a bachelor/bachelorette show out there.
That'd be kind of a cool, like, kind of a...
It'd be really cool
Like-
if it was written correctly.
What's it called? The spelling bee.
It's Putnam.
Putnam County Spelling Bee, but like the Bachelor/Bachelorette, you can make it comedy.
Well, and if you get people from the audience and then like they get eliminated after they ask the
Yeah.
question. I like shows with audience participation.
I like it when it's done tastefully. What I don't like is I'm in the world, I'm on the stage, and then someone marches next to me singing. I'm like, ah. I have a price tag of one functioning car. That's dangerous because sometimes functioning cars are not that expensive.
Take my word for it. I mean, my last car was fine. It started and I could go places. I just couldn't stop when I got there.
I had my brake lines get cut in the middle of the highway once. And I was like trying to brake and then I just had to turn right and left and it's like I had to get all the way back to school. And I don't know how I did it. Probably some of the finest driving I've ever done, but I did it.
We were driving yesterday. We're not selling people. We're not selling a date with them. It's rated PG only.
PG-13.
I was doing an airport run yesterday, and there was a woman in the car next to me sleeping. I was like deathly afraid because I didn't know what to do. The only thing that I could do was like honk my horn, but she never looked over. And like we're coming up to a turn, and I was like, well, if I stay right here, I'm obviously going to get hit. And she never looked up, but her car turned. And I'm telling my dad the story, and he goes, well, was it a Tesla? And I said, no, it was not a Tesla. I don't know how she did it.
I totally tune in for a 24-hour live stream. Count me in. The 24-hour live stream would be fun. It'd probably be segmented. Probably in like 8 hours we're going to do this. 8 hours we're going to do this.
We have to schedule it out.
Yeah, and it would definitely be like, I don't think both of us would be 100% awake the 24 hours. Like there might be a time where it's like, oh, I play an hour or two of games and I live stream that, and then Will sleeps, and then Will does a piano bar for 2 or 3 hours, and then I sleep, so on and so forth.
Oh, I don't sleep.
Yeah, but so on and so forth, and then probably go.
Not on purpose.
Well, Barnes, if you love these live streams, you should tune in. We do a lot of them, and hopefully do some more.
Yeah.
Plus, prop auction. I've got stimulus money to spend. Let's make it happen.
Hey, we like stimulus money.
Yeah.
We like stimmy money.
What?
Did you see what Barnes wrote? A date auction is way more interesting. We're not auctioning off people. We can't. They won't let us. The network executives have just told us in our earbuds that we cannot auction off people. They said it is socially frowned upon these days.
You already act slap happy. Interesting to see you both after several hours. I'm cranky.
It depends on how long I've stayed up and why I'm staying up. A lot of times now that I have my CPAP, I actually sleep pretty well. But I don't know, before we went to Six Flags, I only slept for like 2 hours. Was I cranky?
After a while, you were.
Was I really?
Yeah.
When?
You stormed off that ride.
I feel like that was just me in excitement, trying to contain it.
But there's H. Brown, I can get a bunch of girls who go to IUN and PNW. Maybe you can get some hot guys to do it too. I can't tell if that's backhanded or like genuinely trying to be helpful. I appreciate the thought. I'll stream on Twitch for 24 hours. Okay. Interesting idea, H. Brown. I like the creativity. Well, we're a bunch of creative people here.
Yeah. I mean, we thought about a couple of different things that, could go on throughout a 24-hour stream. Like, there's a couple of, there's a documentary that's been made about Ross.
Which, if you haven't watched it yet, you should watch it.
It's really, really good.
There's a documentary made about doing Little Shop during a pandemic, which
Yeah.
you should watch.
We could talk about what it's going to be like to do the first show back
Yeah.
for Ross after the pandemic.
I was actually, because my TikTok got banned today.
How did your TikTok get banned?
I don't know. But it got banned, so I was going to make a new one, and I was thinking about, like, I don't know. I just said I don't know. But then there's...
I got a question. How'd your TikTok get
But there's but I was thinking about like videotaping and just kind of documenting like the process, just because like not a lot of people see, and like not posting it during the summer, but like in reflection of the summer after it's gone.
You know what I did? I started doing, I haven't posted on it in a while. I had a Snapchat account that I created, and every couple of days or every day or whatever, I send a new picture to it, and at the end of the year, maybe we could do that and just keep sending pictures and videos and then record it all at the end.
You can buy me 1 pint of Ben & Jerry's. I don't have $8.
1 pint? You mean $12.50? Because, I mean, the process of making a musical is actually extremely interesting, and a lot of times in the moment
See
and in the
H.
heat
Brown.
of... What is your favorite flavor ice cream? Mine is anything chocolate.
I like pistachio.
Peanut butter pecan.
I've
Sorry.
always had a thing for pistachio, because there's a restaurant called Maxim's. When I was younger, I used to get their spumoni ice cream, and I would eat the green side to be my favorite because it's pistachio flavored. And then I was really young, and then I went to this museum, and they had like an old-fashioned ice cream shop, and I asked for the green ice cream because I thought it was pistachio, and
They gave you mint?
yeah, they gave me mint, and I was crying because it tasted like toothpaste.
If you guys would like, I think I can show Jacob driving that car.
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Would you like to see that?
I think we would. We're going to show
Watch
a
me
clip.
drive that car.
Let me, I have to keep talking, I'll tell you when I'm ready.
But
Mine would be butter pecan. That's
oh,
my
you are
favorite.
an old white woman.
That was my grandmother's favorite. Do you like butter pecan too? So I'm turning into both of your parents.
What show do you watch?
I'm gonna shut up because I was gonna say that I'm turning into both of your parents. I do watch Criminal Minds on repeat. Thank you very much. I just got to the ones that they put on Hulu, so this is now my second time seeing them. So it's like brand new.
All right, so we got a video coming up of me driving a car.
A hover round power.
Never driven, and this is my first experience behind the wheel. Yeah, you had to invert the wheel to get it to go the direction you wanted.
Oh, you both drove it home at one point?
No, it was just me. He had to stand on the back. Yeah, so he's standing in the back because it would. Yeah.
So the chassis would sit on top of the hover round. We had to put weight in the back, and that was Lucas.
God, he was a pain that time.
We got a crappy job.
Yeah, but so did I. And he couldn't do my job, so I did my best.
Do me a favor, Luke. Sit here.
And anytime we
He
hit,
was sitting, he was standing.
every time we hit a bump, he's ah. So I'd stop. And he's like, "Don't stop."
See, he's not where he was. He's now in the seat. He was in the seat during this. Hold on. He was in the seat during this, and not wait over here. He's in the front seat now. We had to move him to the back so he put some weight on the hover round. So it's kind of so here he's in the seat. But you'll see when they're driving down the road, we had to stick him on top of the. So he's standing on a little platform in the back of. That's empty back there. So he's standing on the hover round.
Cars stopping, people pulling over and pulling over.
Yeah, people were taking pictures. One guy almost hit us and got piffy about it. It's like, it's not a real car, dude. I know it's hard to tell. Because I'm driving a Model T down Broadway.
Didn't you use bike wheels?
No, those were. No, we tried all kinds of wheels.
Wheelchair
Those
wheels.
were off of wheelchairs. Some old man was driving. Two old men were driving down the street. We just took those wheels off, left them there. And
Where are those? We could auction them. If you eat butter pecan, you automatically become a senior citizen. That is not true. Okay.
And I will take the discount too.
I don't know. My birthday last week, I tried to apply for ARP this week, and they were like, "Sir, you're not old enough." And I said,
have any
"Please."
questions while you're talking, so we can answer anything that.
Any questions about the show? We covered everything I think that was important, but
Soon I will be putting the link up shortly in the on the YouTube. I'll send it to you guys so you can put the link up to the.
The link will go up for the form, not only on the YouTube chat, but on the Facebook page, and then you can check both Jacob and I's Facebook pages, respectively, so that everyone has an opportunity to fill out the form, and if you have any questions, you can ask us right now, or
please right now.
If you don't want them answered, you could send a private message if you don't want to ask them on there. A lot of old people like lemon meringue flavor, rhubarb flavor, or black licorice flavor ice cream. I do not like black licorice flavored anything. I can't say if I like rhubarb. I don't know if I've ever had it. I don't mind lemon meringue pie.
What shows would you absolutely never do?
Do you mean you as in Jacob
in
personally and
Ross?
myself personally, or you as in Ross as the organization? Barnes, Mr. Richardson he was a teacher at the high school.
That we all went to.
Cool guy. I believe that is a compliment because he's a very cool guy. Very, goofy and silly and not in a bad way, Very down to earth. His class was fun. He taught U.S. government. At least that's what I had him as.
As far as the shows we wouldn't do, I would never say never to any show because hopefully it will run long past the time that we're here, so anything could be done. But shows that we can't do would be anything that's adult. Just, cabaret is something that, unless you use the high school version or Chicago.
Anything overly sexual like Cabaret or Chicago and probably even Spring Awakening, we couldn't do unless like we bought the whole high school.
Well, unless you bought the entire high school.
Which, whenever my Dogecoin makes me a trillionaire,
And
might happen.
just getting the high school version of a show sometimes, the shows are so cheesy because of how watered down they become or the content. Like there's a show called Avenue Q, which is like an adult Sesame Street. And there's some songs in there that are really funny. And the harmonies vocally are really extremely tight, but it would be very hard to perform some of those songs at a high school, in a high school facility. Yes, Hair is another one. Hair is very overly sexualized. But some of the songs include like, If You Were Gay, or Everyone's a Little Bit Racist. It would be hard. Or The Internet is for Porn is one of the songs in Avenue Q. And in the school version, there is a school version, it's The Internet is for Social Media. That's kind of
boring. Boo.
Like when we did Spam-A-Lot, we had someone that was uncomfortable with one of the songs towards the end of the show, and didn't finish the run with us because one of the songs made her uncomfortable. And it wasn't that it was. There's that link for you guys.
I don't even remember this.
Someone out of the pit. When we sang "Get Your Hand Off My Knee, You Dirty Old Bastard." So
that's the best song in the show.
we want to make sure, and art should not be censored, and I do believe that there's not any of that going on, but we want to respect the fact that RSMT is a family venue. It started as a youth theater and a teen theater, and then grew and blossomed into this beautiful entity that it is now. But not only are we in a high school, but we appeal to a family crowd.
Times change too. Like, could you imagine doing Spam-A-Lot in the 60s?
Good talk.
No. Like, you couldn't even imagine doing Spam-A-Lot in the 60s. And right now, it's like people are really hypersensitive to, the whole sexuality thing. But it's like, I could see us doing Sweeney Todd before we ever did Spring Awakening or Hair. And it's just like, that's just kind of the way, the school system and stuff is sitting right now. In 20 years from now, who knows?
I mean, and there's some other shows that have been done that didn't do as well, that the shows were performed really well, and the people that came really loved them, but there were only a few people that came, and so it probably would be a very long time before those shows would be performed again. Some of it may be the content. Some of it may be just how you felt. You walked away and you felt like, man, I walked in like, all right, and I walked out and I'm really friggin' depressed now.
Jesus Christ Superstar barely got away with what it did when it came out.
Yeah.
And now it's like a classic.
Yeah. So.
There were protests when it came out in the 70s.
Yeah, there are massive protests when it came out in the 70s. That'd be like people protesting Hamilton. It's insane.
Which I'm pretty sure there was a group that did, and we just don't remember.
Not to the mass scale that
yeah,
Superstar. But,
but he was smart. He wrote his first 2 shows off of biblical stories.
So he didn't have to pay rights.
And he writes to the story. It's the story everyone knows.
Yeah. It just told from the second person perspective, really. All right, there's that link. Does anyone have any more questions?
Barnes said that we should do Bye Bye Birdie in the future at some time, even if it is not this year.
We have done it 5 times.
We've done it 5 times.
I did it. I wasn't here.
Maybe.
The last one was when, Melinda? 86?
It
Oh,
yeah, I could see that being a high school show down the pipeline, potentially. Would you say?
You could. There is another problem. People, they see Bye Bye Birdie, and a lot of people that you want to audition go, and you don't have a cast because no one wants to audition for it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different moving parts there. I know you could say, well, because you don't pay your actors, so you can't just say, oh, you got to do this, or do this even if you don't like the part. People got to spend their whole summer with it, so they got to like the show. So,
Josh, we are probably never going to do Memphis until Lucas or I move away.
And then I'm going to play Huey.
we are going to do Memphis again.
We will do it again.
And
but,
Will play Huey.
You know,
I mean, Memphis is a good
The
show.
problem is, there is only one female part in Memphis. And there is, there are more African-American male leads.
there's 2 women's part. There's the mom, too.
That's true. That's true. There's the mom and the, so there's two parts. One young person, one old person, and there's only one white guy in it, which is okay.
It's very limited to female characters.
And that's the other thing. It's a lot of other places you go, and it's not a bad thing, you know, either way. But a lot of other places you go do not have the same facilities that we have and that we're able to utilize. And so, obviously not this year, but typically big, huge casts is what Ross is known for. Filling up that entire stage. That stage is huge, you know. And when you go other places, they have smaller performance spaces, and so they do shows like something similar to Memphis or
A show I'd love to do is $1 Million Quartet.
$1 Million Quartet would be fun.
$1 Million Quartet would be really fun. You just have 4 guys, they all play instruments, it's just live music for an hour and a half with a story that follows it. I think that'd be cool. I already like Johnny Cash music enough, and Johnny Cash plays bass in the band. I play bass. It just seems like something I would have a lot of fun doing. But it would suck on the big stage. The audience size would be great, but like you'd have to fill up all that stage with just 4 people.
Yeah,
It's
that would be something that would.
I would like to do Lies and Legends again, but
Yeah.
you can't do it on a stage that size.
No.
Question: which is a better movie, the B movie or the Emoji movie? I think you mean B film, the cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah, and I have one question for you. You like jazz?
Yeah, you like jazz.
I would love for Ross to do The Wiz in the future for a summer show.
We have strong opinions on The Wiz, and it has been in talks before. We get to the place where we don't want to pigeonhole people to think that's all our community can do.
And it's been overdone in the area a lot recently. So to give it time to air out of the place, I like a lot of the music from it, but you know, it's kind of been overdone.
We talked about earlier this year doing Into the Woods, but
See you later, Barnes. Thanks
See
so
ya,
much for
Barnes.
hanging out.
we were thinking about doing Into the Woods way earlier this year, but it's like there's another place doing it, and like a couple years back people were doing it, and it's just something that's done like every year, so they're like, we'll steer clear this year. Memphis is a really great show. I will
And
say
it's
that.
not. And it's not to. We don't do this. It's not that shows aren't picked because someone else is doing it, so there's not competition created. It's you want to give variety. You know, if we have so many community theaters in this area, we have so many theaters that offer this. You could go every weekend, usually in the summertime, from June until Christmas, and see a show somewhere every weekend in this area. And the beautiful part of that is that you can go, you want to have the opportunity to go. Where do you go to see Scrooge? I see Scrooge at Scrooge's house. Scrooge bad.
You bad guy.
Scooch bad guy. You know, and so you have the beautiful ability to go different places, just like you wouldn't go downtown Chicago and see Aladdin playing twice in the city, you know, and that also kind of hinders about the contracts. Now that theater is going to be returning, especially in professional or to Chicago, they want to make sure that it's not being done in a certain radius.
We couldn't get Beauty and the Beast for a long time because of that.
Yeah. So to make sure that everyone has a variety and everyone's respecting everyone's ability to perform and create things professionally.
Jalen, yeah, I agree. Memphis is a great show. I'd love to do it. I always wanted to do it. I put everyone onto it, then they did it when I was gone.
Barnes said, I gotta go.
I gotta go.
go.
I have got to go to the eye doctor.
Barnes was promised a...
He owes you $1,000 and a date.
No, he said he didn't have $1,000.
Oh.
Which I don't know. Maybe...
Who is H. Brown?
I don't know.
Does anyone in chat know who H. Brown is? Because they talk like they know us, but I'm not sure I know who they are. It's very ambiguous, because I don't know if it's a man or a woman, or if they're older or younger.
It's H. He's H.
H, okay. I remember there were like 5 Little Mermaids the same. Yeah, exactly. So one person sees one Little Mermaid. It's like, my kids saw Little Mermaid once this summer. They don't need to see it again. It's like if you were going to the movie theater every day for a week, would you want to see the same movie 5 times? Even though your viewing experience might be different. You might get a different beverage with it.
And sometimes people go see a show and they have a not good experience and they don't go and try it somewhere else because they've already been turned off.
And sometimes it could be because of spatial reasons. Someone doing something and then someone has the ability to do things somewhere else.
I mean, I know people who don't want to see Little Mermaid anymore because they saw a production where waves fell down.
That's not true.
Is that you? Are you some people? I that's not how it was. I need it correctly.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
I think you're some people. Are you some people?
No, I was just kidding.
But yeah, there's lots of things that go into
We even
picking.
threw around doing Little Mermaid again this summer. I mean, there's
We did, and it might have happened, but there's someone else doing it, and someone did a
there's like 3 other people doing it right now. It was,
full version of it.
yeah. And like that's the thing too. When we put on a show, we want to put on a good show. So when we ask for things like Vax cards or we ask for things like smaller cast, we're not doing it to exclude people because that's never been the case. It's just, you know, doing a show with a mask on, it pulls you out of it. And
For example, we would have done Shrek this year, but after looking at the technical aspects of it, I wasn't just going to throw it together. It's going to take.
yeah, so we were really considering doing Shrek this year because it has a lot of parts, but looking at the technical and costuming aspect, we'd be able to do it okay, but we'd want to do it right if we were to ever do it. So it's like if we do it next year and we know we have to prepare for it ahead of time, you know, pick a fairy tale theme something for the spring musical, and then all of a sudden you have half your sets built. Back in the day, School Musical, Marival, and CP doing spring musicals, anything goes, same year. Next year, same thing happened. Forget the show.
They forgot what the show was.
Yeah.
And then it becomes an unintentional competition because you have people, and I've heard this come out of people's mouth, where they saw one thing and then they went and saw it somewhere else, and this was better, or that was better.
Yeah.
I like the way that they did this and that they did that. I mean, you're not going to ever truly run away from that because, you know.
You know, there's someone I used to talk to a lot, and I said, "Oh, what'd you think of Our Into the Woods?"
I know exactly.
Well, I know you do.
That's the story that I was telling.
Instead of naming things they liked, they said, well, ours is better. I was like, what? Or when I mentioned the spring musical and I said, oh, what'd you like about the spring musical? I wasn't even part of it. My brother was part of it, but I wasn't. And they said, well, my high school would have done it better. And I was like, can you name something you like about it? Please?
The
Pretty
seats were
please?
comfy.
The seats are comfy. See, even that. You have to learn how to,
The concession stand was good.
at least that. That's a minimum.
And I'm excited because I've planned out Missy's concession stand for every show that's on the docket. So
She had already today. I sat with her and she was going through shows that we haven't even talked about. But we're thinking about this. This is what she had planned.
did you get a slideshow?
Oh my God, not quite. It's only because she didn't have her device with her.
Oh, because she made one.
Random question, and I apologize if I already covered this. Are there thoughts about Scrooge yet? I'd assume we're doing it this.
We're doing Scrooge.
Yeah, we're doing Scrooge. Fauci said things would be back to normal, or as close as they can be. By fall.
Even if we have to socially distance audience, we will.
Even if we have to socially distance, it'll happen. Scrooge is a 100% certainty this year.
And it's
Knock on wood.
and for the children's, it's really, really easy to, if they still have to be masked or still have to have facial coverings, to just take their scarves that they already have to wear because they're outside and pull it up over their face. So if that is still an issue, it's very easy to get around things like that.
That's one of the reasons we try to keep the cast in our bubble for now.
And that's the thing. It's like we're gonna be tight knit, and like me, you, and Keith, Cassidy, maybe a couple other people. We hang out all the time. When we did the fall show, we just hung out all the time around each other. We were comfortable around each other, and
We still wore masks.
Yeah, well, most of the time.
Yeah.
That's because the show.
Yeah.
Show called for it. And now, you're fully vaxxed. Keith is fully vaxxed. Cassidy's about a week away from being fully vaxxed. It's like the need for masks is lessening, but it's so important that if like everyone were to get the vaccine, we could literally go back to normal.
Yeah. As Jimmy Fallon said, half of Americans are vaccinated. So one of the Johnson brothers.
Yeah, one
you
of the
can
Johnson
pick which
brothers.
one. Hopefully not the one who. Hopefully it's the one who didn't come up with the vaccine.
Which, tune in for another two Bored Musicians, so I can give my thoughts on that, but I won't right now.
When we're not being sponsored by the Ross Music Theater. This show was sponsored by Ross Music Theater. Ross Music Theater, bringing you quality theater excellence for the past 50.
Don't you know that the casting will be a little different this time? Because like I said, if we have too many people for ensemble, we're going to have to cut it down.
I said that. But if in case you guys didn't hear, where casting is going to be different, ensemble is going to be smaller than it typically is. It's probably going to be a not one-size-fits-all casting like it normally is. We're going to keep things in a bubble. And what I mean by that is, if we cast you, we're going to cast you in the hope that you stick around with us and just us, just to prevent the spread and anything. Because what will happen is, if there's a single person who is unvaccinated, they catch COVID, we can get shut down for 2 weeks. And during an 8-week production period, that's way too much time lost.
Yeah.
There was a high school that had to stop for a month. Another high school had to cancel their show and their concert because people. So when we're casting, we're going to be thinking of safety too. So
Yeah, safety is a big part of it, and I stress, get vaccinated, because that will improve chances exponentially.
It comes down to making sure that we can all do this. And
It is kind of irritating, and I will say it, that we've made it this far, and we've worked really hard to get this far to the point where life can almost go back to normal. And, some people still choose to wear masks because they don't want to be misrepresented, and some people don't get vaccinated because of their political beliefs. I understand that's all frustrating. But at the end of the day, we need to make decisions that are best for the show, best for our health, best for the community, and we want to get back on track. And we're going to do that a safe way, but we're trying to make it as close to normal as possible. Sarah, thank you for the info. It's all very exciting. Yes, it is. Who knew normal could be so exciting?
Me. Normal's always exciting for me because my life is never normal.
Yeah, you're in 2 different states every day.
All the time.
All right, do
All
we
the
have
time.
any more questions? We are almost coming up
I
on...
spent so much time in a car yesterday that I went home and watched TV and stood for an hour and a half because I was tired of sitting down.
We have a...
At this point, if I die today, bury me on my stomach to give my ass a break.
Okay. Noted. We've almost been streaming for 2 hours. I've got nothing left. I've got no new information to give any of you. So if you have questions,
Banned!
speak now or forever you hold your peace.
Wherever you hold your peace.
Those links are up on my,
Links are up on Facebook.
yep,
And feel free to ask questions.
in the chat section of this, and it's also in the description of the video on Facebook.
So if you have any questions, and those links are up, and
I'll give it about 2 minutes for any last questions, comments, concerns.
be looking for other things and things about the kids show. Once again, those links are going to go up as well, and we're getting excited and pumped up that we actually get back to what we love to do,
Yeah.
making música.
Dates of the show, we did cover that. That is the last weekend of July, first weekend of August, or the first 2 weekends of August. It might get pushed back a week, depending on when we get their scripts and stuff for the show. Would love another chance to do Little Shop.
You got the most interesting little shop for
Yeah,
sure.
you got a year-long run that never ran. One question before. You still have Audrey, yes. One other question. How can I make a donation to y'all? I'm in a charitable mood and the arts can use a little help.
You have a link for people to make donations, don't you, Mike?
Yeah, somewhere.
Um,
I'll put a link up in the thing.
we'll
We'll put a link in the thingy.
In the
in the comment section.
comment section.
There will be a link. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate
Very kind.
those kinds of things. We're self-sufficient.
We do everything by ticket sales.
Yeah. So the fact that last year there were no ticket sales to come in, kind of really hurt, and trying to build back off of
We're going to
that.
be doing 2 shows at once, the kids show and the Carol Burnett's. It's going to be rough.
What isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, we do. We're self-sufficient. Everything so that's why there's a lot of reusing of props and costumes and repurposing and stuff like that. And it to me it's fun. I make a little game out of it. I try to think of. I write a storyline for every little prop and how it gets reused and everything to put it in its own universe. But things like donations and volunteering and stuff really do help us out. Hopefully I'll lose a couple of pounds by then to be a dentist. You're a good dentist, Josh. You'll be a dentist. All right, well, I think that 2 minutes is up, and I think everyone who has asked their questions has had the chance to ask their questions.
All right, so we're going to sign off. Debbie, tell Steve to get his buns over here because we need to do 2 Bored Musicians and 2 Grumpy Old Men very soon. That will be fun. Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. This has been probably our most viewed stream
In a while, for sure.
Yeah, well, I think overall, because for a while we had like 35 viewers.
Cool.
Yeah, so.
Cool.
cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, and we'll be talking to all of you very soon. And some of you will see throughout the cusp of the weekend. Have a very safe weekend if you're traveling or if you're not traveling or whatever. Either way, be safe.
Wash your hands, wear a mask.
Wash your hands, wear a mask.
Better yet, if you get vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask.
Check out some of our documentaries.
Look at our documentaries
On the YouTube page, there's lots of
right now.
documentaries and things, and they're not long. They're not long.
They're great. You should watch them. You should leave a like. You should share, and you should subscribe, even though people don't pay attention to shares, but you should share anyway. And I should see the viewer count go to 0 because you should go watch our documentaries.
Thank you, have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night. I gotta go. I have got to go.